Okay, time to watch Friends for the millionth time.
What are you doing here? You need to go see the new Doctor Strange movie!
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm you, but from another dimension.
Okay. So, why do I need to go see the new Doctor Strange movie?
If you don't see the new movie, aliens will invade the Earth and enslave all of humanity. Like you, I too was a lazy bum who didn't see the new Doctor Strange movie, and my dimension suffered the consequences because of it.
Warn me when a real disaster occurs.
Did I mention they get rid of the all-day breakfast menu at McDonald's?
No more all-day breakfast menu!
Hi, my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, and Rachel McAdams. Anyway, so this film takes place in sometime after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. Doctor Strange is attending the wedding of his ex-girlfriend Christine, played by Rachel McAdams, and he says he's happy, but clearly there's something going on underneath. And he is going to have to tackle those underneath issues when America Chavez, a human being who can travel through dimensions, comes across his path. And so what then follows is a wild, sort of imaginative trip across the multiverse. So, this film is going to be a bit difficult to review because it is a landmine of spoilers. But I'll try to do my best. I like to keep these reviews reasonably spoiler-free. Let's just start off with the cast. The cast is all pretty good. Benedict Cumberbatch is once again pretty good as Doctor Strange. He's a hyper-competent sorcerer who clearly has a bit too big of an ego for his own good. And then there's also America Chavez, a interdimensional traveler whose powers are coveted by a certain someone, let's say. And Elizabeth Olsen, she reprises her role as Wanda. So, the writing makes an interesting choice, let's say, regarding the Wanda character. And let me just start with the fact that I have not seen the WandaVision show, so maybe there's some context in that show that might explain this film better, but I will say this, as someone who has not seen the WandaVision show, I was very caught off guard by this certain choice I mentioned. And while Elizabeth Olsen does manage to handle this change pretty well, it still feels jarring nonetheless. I mean, again, like I said, she's really good in the role and she brings a good amount of pathos and heartbreak to the role, but yeah, I don't know, it just feels a bit awkward. Also, America Chavez, again, I like the character. She's a bit smart alecky, knows her ways around the dimensions well, having been to 73 of them. And, the issue is the film, doesn't really treat her as a character in so much as she is a sentient MacGuffin. And because of that, the friendship that develops between Benedict Cumberbatch and, Doctor Strange and America Chavez, it doesn't quite feel fully earned. And the reason why is because they don't get to spend enough time bonding together. The film tries to do it at the very beginning of the film, but I think a part of the issue with that is that it's dedicated to so much exposition. A good chunk of America Chavez's dialogue is just her explaining the multiverse. And again, it's not terrible, and in between that there's a little bit of bonding, but it doesn't quite feel fully earned. Again, the two actors are so well acted, I think it transcends the material, but I don't know, it sort of left me wanting for a bit more of an in-depth bond between the two characters. Let's see. Also, the humor, so again, in terms of humor, this one felt like a bit of an overall of a miss for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, this film does have some good humor, and it's not nearly as bad as Eternals, but I don't know, there are just times where it felt like the writing clearly wasn't nearly as funny as the writers clearly thought it was, because on occasion there'd be a funny line and I thought, okay, that's funny, but I never really laughed hard, like, say, Spider-Man No Way Home or Avengers Age of Ultron. So, yeah, the humor didn't quite feel as funny as the writers thought it would be. Not to say it was unfunny, just not nearly as funny. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, also, Sam Raimi's direction. So, this is clearly Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi, not Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. However, that said, Sam Raimi does bring a lot more technical prowess to this film than the typical MCU director. He makes some clever cinematography choices, uses fade-ins, and some other creative choices to distinguish this film from other MCU films, so I did like that. Plus, he pushes the PG-13 rating not super hard, but definitely not quite like Batman, the Batman hard, but still pretty hard. There were moments where like, okay, wow, they went that direction. Wow, oof. So, yeah, I guess ultimately, so while the film's storytelling, I guess, but one thing I should mention before I deliver the conclusion is just the unmistakable feeling of the fact that of all the multiverse films that have come out in the past few years, i.e. like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or the most recent film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is definitely the weakest of all those films. It's certainly not terrible, not by a long shot. I mean, it's too well put together to be bad. It just feels a bit too safe. And I feel like if you're going to... it doesn't quite earn the madness part of the Multiverse of Madness moniker. So, with all that being said, despite having a script that isn't quite as creative as its visuals, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness thankfully compensates thanks to a solid cast. And so with that in mind, I will be giving the film 3.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.